So you're thinking about moving to Lenexa, Kansas. Well, good news. In this video, we're gonna be talking all about everything you need to know about living in Lenexa, Kansas. And if you stick around to the end, we're gonna go take a look at some houses in different neighborhoods at different price points so you can see what you might be able to afford on your budget. And we're gonna get started right now. Hey, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, and places like Lenexa, Kansas, then click subscribe, hit that little bell for notifications so you can be the first to know the current market here in the KC metro area. My name is Zach Morton. My business partner, Max Jones, the Mojo Real Estate team, and I have been helping people move to Kansas City for over 20 years. We absolutely love it, but you don't have to take my word for it. See what our clients have to say with over 600 5-star Google reviews from people just like you. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, you can just pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us a text, drop us an email, even schedule a Zoom call so we can have a conversation with you and help you with a seamless transition into your new market. All that contact information is in the description below. And right now we are talking about Lenexa, Kansas, and I am standing right in Lenexa's new city center. This is a brand new spot that Lenexa is dumping millions and millions of dollars into to just make it nice and sweet. There's apartments, there's condos, there's single family housing, super walkable. There's the market right behind me. There's a library. Everything you need, all nice and new, is right here. But let's start with a little bit about Lenexa. The Lenexa is located just south and west of Kansas City City Center. So you are about, by car, 15, 16 minutes right into downtown. You're about 30 to 45 minutes from the airport. And just as a little spoiler, that's about the only negative that I'm gonna be able to tell you about Lenexa is the drive to the airport. If you don't travel every day for work, or 30 to 40 minutes is no big deal to you, then that's not gonna be a problem. So anyway, just south of Kansas City City Center, 15 to 16 minutes to downtown, easy to get around in. This town is smaller. Lenexa is only 34 square miles. So not a huge city. We've talked about some of the others, but it is still coming in at number 8, the 8th largest city in Kansas as far as population. And the population is coming in right at 57,000 people. So pretty good size. We're kind of nestled in right around, we are in Johnson County. We've got some great little suburb cities all around us that are top notch. Can't say enough good things about. So this is kind of that really sweet spot. It's surrounded by sweet spots, has great highway access, and let's just get going, shall we? All right, how about a real brief history on how Lenexa got its name? Back in the 1850s, a guy by the name of Bill Hickok, yep, that's right, Wild Bill Hickok, who later dubbed Wild Bill Hickok, was out here, state claim, put a flag in the ground. He got 160 acres to his name, not too far from where I'm standing right now. About 5 years later, the Kansas Shawnee Native Americans were signing a U.S. document seceding 1.6 million acres of their reservation to U.S. The first two signers on that were Chief Black Hoof and his wife, Nanaxi Black Hoof, was the second signer on that. He later died. She became a widow. But as the U.S. took that land back, and then within the next 5-10 years, they decided to plat Lenexa. They wanted to use an American name, and everybody, at least they got this, everybody in town was like, no, let's go after the widow Black Hoof. So Nanaxi, nobody could quite say that just right, so it went to Lenexa, named after Chief Blackfoot's wife. So anyway, interesting tidbit of information right there. All right, I think I've probably told you guys before, but born and raised, lived in Kansas City my whole life. However, I did at the age of 38, 40 or so, move out to the West Coast, take my family out for a 3-year hiatus, live close to a beach and some mountains, and had a wonderful time. But I have been through what you might be going through now, and I know that what was important to us, we had a couple little kids, was school districts. So I do want to talk about that briefly. We do have great rated schools all around Lenexa, but Lenexa doesn't actually have its own school district. It steals schools from the surrounding areas. All highly rated, but depending on whether you're on the east side of Lenexa, the south side of Lenexa, the west or the north, you could land in a different school district. So all those are highly rated. I will say there is probably one slightly better than the other, but you're just splitting hairs at that point, and they are all great. You're talking Olathe School District, the Shawnee Mission School District, and the DeSoto School District all service this area. So you really can't go wrong, but I do like to point that out because it's something that's kind of unique to Lenexa. There are several private school options as well, if that's something you're interested in, but just to point that out, you know, lots of variety of school across the board. Now, when we talk variety of different options, I will say that Lenexa is super diverse on age groups. When I looked at the age group study, there was really, the average age is still coming in 35 to 37, but they are only winning by just a small, like 5%. It's pretty, from kids to old people, each 10-year age gap pretty much has, 10% of the market. So you're gonna find all ages living in Lenexa, all different backgrounds, and just very diverse when it comes to age and the age of the population. All right, so Zach, it looks all nice and new around there. It sounds like you have A-rated schools across the board. It must be expensive. And although it's not the cheapest place in Kansas City, you might be surprised. It's not quite as crazy as you might think. The cost of living numbers out here are coming in at 105% of the national average. And can you guess what the number one thing that's throwing it off? It is the price of housing. The housing numbers are coming in at 120% of the national average, which really isn't too bad. We've got places in Kansas City that are pushing 160, 170% of the national average. So when you take all that in with utilities, healthcare, groceries, all that stuff, and you combine it together with, like I said, housing being 120%, and you average it all out, Lenexa as a whole comes right in at 105%. So pretty sweet on cost of living. Taxes are still coming in, like your property tax still coming in right around 1%. The property value on average. Sales tax is a little higher out here. You're looking at 9.4% on sales tax. Another one of the great suburbs too that kind of rivals this one, maybe comes in just a notch above, but Overland Park to the east actually touches this, comes in at 9.2% sales tax, which is on the higher side too. But I tell you what, out of all the places in town, Lenexa is really dumping a lot of money. I just told you, into this area, but all around town, from the streets, the sidewalks, the curbs, the bridges, the architecture, just everything is done really nice, feels really clean, really safe, really beautiful. And I think if you just take a drive through the town, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, the rent to own homeowner ratio is 40% rentals, 60% homeowners. So it's always nice when that tips a little more towards homeowners, because that just means the people that are here love the place. They know they're going to be around for a while, so they take care of it. They invest in their homes, they invest in their neighborhoods, their areas, and it just keeps the place nice and keeps it going. A lot of the rental properties, there is brand new rental. Even just around here, there's brand new condos that have great walkability. They've just really laid this out nicely, and everything is nice and new. There's not a lot of rundown rentals. There's none of that you might think about when you think about rentals and apartments. Everything out here is really clean, nicely laid out. And I don't think that you're gonna find a lot of those rundown rentals that you kind of think about when you hear that term, rentals or apartment buildings or all that. This is just one of those places that is really top notch. Okay, so the median income out here is coming in right at $97,000 a year for household income. And I did want to touch, we talked a little bit about location, how it's southwest of the city. There are two major highways. On the east side of Lenexa, we have 35 North, which runs right into downtown Kansas City at kind of a northeast trajectory. So that is a heavily trafficked road. It gets everybody. I told you we're surrounded by a lot of other great neighborhoods and cities in this area, and they're all going to dump onto that road primarily to get into downtown. Now, 435, if you've seen some of our other videos, is a loop that circumvents the city. It goes all the way around Kansas City. 435 actually dissects the west side of Lenexa. So you have two great highways that you can get to. It tends to be the way Lenexa is kind of laid out is the east side of Lenexa, which is on 35 Highway, kind of borders that, almost cuts off right there, is pretty densely populated. That's where like the big box store, there is some industry, some warehouses and stuff that's right along the highway there, kind of like what you'd expect. And it's pretty densely populated close to the highway. As you start to move west and get a little further away from 35, as you travel across Lenexa, it's gonna spread out a little bit. See a few more golf course communities, a little more elbow room. And then on the far west side, I'm on kind of the west side right now, over by the 435 intersection. This is where the new stuff's happening, and that's exactly where you can still go out and find, you know, small acreage, 3, 5, maybe still some 10s, but get a house, you can build a house on acreage. There's big golf course, just a little more elbow room because you're a little bit further out. Kind of has that country feel, but you still have that great highway access. Grocery options. Well, if you can't tell by now, this place pretty much has it all. So it is gonna have all your grocery options. You've got the Sprouts, which is gonna be kind of your organic, natural grocery type thing. We've got Aldi's, we've got Hy-Vee, we've got Costco, we've got a couple local markets. In fact, right here behind me is the public market. That's got some restaurants in it, but in this area, they will also do the farmer's market, which happens a couple times a week in the summertime. And it even kicks off in the winter time. They'll have it, it's not as frequently, but they will have it an indoor farmer's market in the winter time. So you can still come up and get some things either grown in a greenhouse or, you know, still some local stuff that tends to do well in the winter months in a greenhouse. So that is pretty cool. As far as shopping, there's lots of little shopping districts all over Lenexa, as well as parks, over 30 parks here. So lots of little spots like that you can stop. All those little areas are gonna have their restaurants, their parks, their shopping. But some of the big ones is you do have a Nordstrom Rack. There is Oak Park Mall, which is just down the street. It's actually just on the border, but that's one of the bigger indoor malls in this area. And then you're also gonna have the town center shopping. Now, town center is actually in Overland Park, so you've got to travel to it, but that is that's got everything you could ever want and is some of the best shopping in the entire city, Kansas City metro area. And that's probably 15, 20 minutes away, just depending on traffic. So you have access to that. And anything that I didn't mention that you're looking for is gonna be, like I said, we are surrounded by 4 other very top-notch suburbs or cities that's gonna have that. And Lenexa borders those, so you really are not more than 15 minutes from anything and not even gonna have to really get on the highway to get there. So lots of great grocery shopping, lots of great shopping, big box stores, all that right at your fingertips, right here in Lenexa. So at this particular moment, I'm standing right by the public market I just pointed out. What that is an indoor kind of food truck court, only they're not food trucks, they are little restaurants. But it's nice because you can take the whole family there. You want a cheeseburger, you want sushi, you want pizza, it can all happen under that roof. And then you can take it outside, eat on the patio, you can eat inside in the air conditioning depending on weather. So just another great option and a great amenity that Lenexa has added over here. There is restaurants galore down the list as far as the diversity of food. Cantonese, Japanese, Chinese, pizza, American pub fare, breweries. I mean, holy cow, you can get any type of food in Lenexa that you can think of. And then there's some famous local ones like the Blue Moose that we mentioned. We've got a couple places in Kansas City that is a great bar and restaurant as well. All right, well, how about some things to do around this place? Well, let me just start with parks, parks, parks. No shortage of parks. I think I said earlier, there's over 30 parks in Lenexa. One of the biggest and baddest ones is the Shawnee Mission Park, which Shawnee Mission, or Shawnee is just to the north, borders Lenexa, so they actually split that. Half that's on the Lenexa side, half's on the Shawnee side. But that is a 1,600 acre park with a 120 acre lake that you can boat on, paddleboard on, sail, fish. Every spring they stock that with rainbow trout. It's got channel cat, crappie and bass and everything you'd expect to fish for. What else do they have up there? They've got an archery course. They've got a 44 acre dog park, off-leash dog park that goes right down to the water. So I like to go out there and take the tennis ball and chuck it out there so my dog will go out, run out, get wet, do some swimming, just really wears them out fast and she loves it. And then there's walking trails all the way around. There's disc golf course. I mean, no shortage. They actually just installed a boat wash station. So after you get done with there, we've got this invasive species called zebra mussels that everybody's trying to keep out of the lakes. So they put a new system in there so you can take your boat out, scrub it down. The water that drains away from your boat does not go back into the lake, so it kind of helps protect it and keep invasive species out. I'm trying to say that a few times fast, invasive species. All right, anyway, Great park system. Can't say enough great things about that. There's also Black Hoof Park. There's that name again. And that is a great park as well. It has all kinds of things that it offers. You've got walking trails, biking trails, hiking trails. Just, I mean, the parks around here are just amazing, well laid out. In fact, some of them on the kind of the north side of town will actually connect you to the neighborhoods, connect the neighborhoods together, and then take you all the way in to the Shawnee Mission Park. So keep an eye out for that. That's something that's important too. If you want to be able to bike and take neighborhood trails that all kind of intertwine and interconnect to get you to the main park and the main lake, because that is pretty sweet. Other fun things beside the park, there is a new aquatic center they're getting ready to wrap up. It's going to have two-story water slides, all the fun stuff that kids love. There is Powder Creek, which is a shooting area where you can take your shotguns out, shoot some trap. There's different stations that you walk up to, slide your card. I forget exactly how it works. I think you just scan your card, hit a button like A, B, C, D, and you can throw the pigeons out in different directions. The clay pigeons, we're not killing real pigeons, and just have a ball out there with the day shooting the shotgun, having some fun. There is trampoline parks. I mean, all that splashy park kind of stuff. Neighborhood pools. I mean, that's what we do in Kansas City, right? When it's summertime and it gets hot out. Today's actually a beautiful day. It's been mostly overcast and then the sun popped out, but that's what we do is we find the water, the lakes, the parks with the lakes, and we go play and have a good time, stay cool. All right, that all sounds great, Zach, but how about the crime? The crime rate, as you might expect, super low. I'll flash this graph up here real quick, but you can see you got the USA and then you got Kansas averages kind of bouncing around the top, and then this orange line bouncing around the bottom. That is Lenexa's crime. So as you can see, over violent crime, there's just not a lot going on. In fact, I feel safe. Would it pass the Zach test? Would you walk anywhere at night? Heck yeah, I would. Not a worry in the world. So anyway, everybody's got a different definition of crime, obviously. So you can look up those reports, niche.com. There's lots of websites that'll give you more details on that if it's important to you, as well as the school districts, obviously. Niche.com, greatschools.org to find more information. But generally, we're just trying to give you some basic information so you can kind of decide what might be a good spot. Really, when we have that one-on-one conversation, that's when we're going to be able to dial it in and really try to help you find what you're looking for. All right, let's talk about home prices. So here in a minute, we're going to go take a look at a couple of homes. We're going to look at one in the 350s, we're going to look at one in the 5s, and then we're going to go look at one on a golf course in the 7s, so you can kind of see what you're going to get. But just to give you some numbers that are straight from the multiple listing service that we subscribe to, and that's where all these numbers come from. Don't want to trust your Zillows and all that for that data. But we have currently, right today, 126 properties active on the market in Lenexa with a median price point of $674. So that's up there quite a bit. We have, let's see, pending. The median pending right now is $625 for a pending price. But what you really want to know is the sold price, because it doesn't matter what you ask, it's what they're selling for. So the median sold price over the last 12 months out of 710 homes that have sold in Lenexa is $430,000. So not too bad when you get that median. Now, I did tell you we're going to start at 350s. I want to find some stuff that was turnkey, nice, livable, that you could just, if you're coming in from out of town, you probably don't have an extensive list of contractors that you know and trust, although we can help you with that. But we find that most people are wanting to just find something they can turn the key, start living, set their stuff down, and don't have to do a lot of repairs and updates. And that really is about that 350 price point and up, is when you're going to be happy and comfortable and not going to have to mess with a lot of the maintenance issues that you might find in lower priced homes. So all in all, that's pretty good for all that you get here. I was actually impressed when I cranked out the numbers and the averages just to see exactly where it was going to land last year, because we've all been through some crazy markets no matter where you're coming from, whether it's California, New York, Chicago, Texas. We're seeing people from everywhere, Ohio, and Colorado. We've all seen some wild rides, but still, for everything that you get and all the amenities that are close by, that's a pretty sweet average price point. I will say that there are some very, very prestigious neighborhoods out here that are probably driving that up a little bit. The highest priced house that did sell in the last 12 months was $2.4 million. So there is plenty of that happens, of people going out and building, these mansions on estate lots, because it's a desirable place to be. It's close to everything, and you still have some elbow room. So some of that does happen, and that's probably what's skewing up a little bit of those active properties and the pendings. But yeah, average price point, $430. That's not too bad. Hey, so all in all, before we go look at houses here, just to kind of wrap things up, this is just a really well laid out, great location. Like I said, the only negative that I can say about this is that it's one of the further suburbs from the airport. But if that's not that big a deal to you, and neither is 30 or 45 minutes to get there, then don't sweat it, man. This is a great spot for a great price with tons of amenities. It would be a great spot. I mean, when I think Lenexa, I think a little bit of, you know, warehouse, big business, big boxes kind of over on the highway side. And then I just think nice, upscale, like young family growing up. It's a place where they want to work, want to live. Yeah, speaking of work, there's a lot of great companies out here. So a lot of great companies. Another great reason to live here and not have to leave is you've got a lot of great employment opportunities. As I'm sitting here talking about all these great companies, you know, Garmin is one that started here. You might be wearing a Garmin watch on your wrist like I am today, or heard of Garmin, you use them on a GPS. Hewitt, as we're talking about that, they employ over 1,300 engineers, and we're standing right in front of their building right now. We've got the U.S. Postal Service at 2,000 employees, Quest Diagnostic Labs at 2,000 employees, and the list just goes on and on. There's a lot of major employers right here in Lenexa. So to sum this all up, you know, niche.com, I always like to look at what they have it rated overall. They take into account everything we've just talked about that, and they give Lenexa an A+ rating, which they don't give out very often. So across the board, when you look at crime, you look at schools, you look at cost of living, housing prices, the school ratings, parks, amenities, things to do. Across the board, this really is a great spot. They're pouring a lot of money, which I've already said, into this. I know I have, but you can just tell when you're out here and you can feel it. There is kind of the old town down on Santa Fe, which was actually part of the old Santa Fe Trail that went down to New Mexico when everybody was traveling through west. But there is an old town there. They're dumping millions of dollars into that too, to revitalize that and bring that back to life. But still, it has it's a great spot. It's a nice, cozy feel. Then we've got everything over here that's nice and new, and we've got some rentals and some office space all around this hub, which is really done nice and beautiful, plenty of parking. So all in all, it gets my vote. Definitely take a look at Lenexa if that's in your books and this kind of fits your cards and what you're looking for. Now, what do you say we go take a look at some houses and see what you can actually get for your money out here? All right, guys, we are at our first house here in Lenexa. It's actually right behind me, sitting up on top of this hill. So just to point out, kind of a corner street right now, sitting up on the hill, so you've got great views of the whole neighborhood. And today, as we start looking at these houses, I do want to point out that you'll see brush piles everywhere, trees that have the tops taken out of them. We just had a major storm come through Kansas City, and Lenexa and some other places down south took a beating. We had recorded winds of up to 70 miles an hour. So some of these big, huge trees took some damage. So you get to see a little bit of carnage on this video. So I just want to point that out. Not everybody just leaves piles of sticks in their front yard. But anyway, the house behind us we're talking about is a 2-story. It's on the market right now. This is coming in at $355. It is a 5-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage on the front, coming in at 2,400 square feet of finished space. So a pretty good size house. There is homes cheaper, but this is kind of that sweet spot where this thing is just ready to go. They put new carpet in, they put granite in the kitchen, you've got LVP flooring. So it's just done really nice. It's ready to go. You just got to turn the key and start living, and it's ready to go right now. That puts the price per finished square foot right at $149. And like I said, this puppy is ready to go. The roof looks great. We're in an older neighborhood here, so everything, you can tell the mature trees. We do have sidewalks. I'll just kind of pan around real quick so you can see some of the other homes in the area. There's some more carnage down over that direction. But just a nice, older, established neighborhood. There is an HOA out here. It's gonna be 23 bucks a month, so that's not bad. It doesn't really cover a whole lot, takes care of some of the common areas. Maybe it prevents the neighbors from painting their house hot pink, which is probably a good thing and a good investment. But overall, it's a great spot, coming in right at $355, which down here is kind of that average price point. So let's go take a look at the second house. All right, so here we are at house number 2. We are in Oak Hill. We're just a little further west from the last house. Point out right away, we have the community mailbox system, so not everybody's got a mailbox in their front yard, which is nice when you're using the sidewalks, kids are out playing. You have to worry about running into one of those in the middle of the night. But the house, the subject house, is right behind me. We are in Oak Hill. I don't know if I've said that subdivision. Really nice subdivision. This property's coming in right at $500,000. What you're gonna get for $500,000 is a really nice 2-story. This is 4 bedrooms, 4 baths. It's got the 3-car garage on the front side there, where it's on the corner lot here, so we'll walk around in a minute and check that out. But very tastefully done. We've got real hardwoods throughout the main level, granite in the kitchen, lots of natural light that comes into that kitchen area, hearth area. Walk right out, flat, no steps, walk right out to a nice patio, a beautiful backyard. You can see their grass is just amazing. And that's kind of, we just stepped it up a couple thousand. This is coming in at 3,400 square feet, so 1,000 square feet more than the last house. We're still falling into that 147 square foot price point, and just pan around a little bit. We've got a cul-de-sac back there, but you can tell that all these houses are really nice. Nobody's really parking in the streets except for me over there. Everybody's using the driveway, and just big wide streets, nice sidewalk, again, mature trees, and just a really nice spot. We are close to several parks here, so from this neighborhood, you can walk right across the street and get to a park system that's gonna take you down the road a bit. There's another big park with lakes just down the street a mile, so you're really within a mile of all kinds of stuff that you can do. Whether you want to grab a bite to eat, go hit some parks, go hit a lake, you've got everything, and just a great neighborhood. So we'll go ahead and walk around the corner here so you can see the garage set up. I've got vaulted ceilings, and I will point out on this one that the master bedroom is super oversized. So you've got enough space for the king size bed, some vaulted ceilings, and the suite master suite, but right next to that, you've got plenty of space in that master bedroom they have it set up with a TV and a sitting chair and an area. So just a really big spot. You can see that nice flat backyard covered by big trees, beautifully landscaped. A lot of space between you and your neighbor. And we'll just pan around this street one more time. And you can see this is just a really nice, cozy, quiet area, and $500,000 ready to go today. All right, let's go down to house number 3. All right, so here we are at house number 3. This is Falcon Ridge, and this is a beautiful spot. This is more on the west side of Lenexa, so we are west of 435. We talked about that, a major highway running through town. This is a golf course community, so I do want to touch on that. And with this community, I love this golf course community. You're gonna get 2 swimming pools, a clubhouse, 6 pickleball courts, tennis. All that's included in the HOA, which is 75 bucks a month. So not too bad for all of that. And a great spot, easy access to everything. The parks, restaurants, the famous Blue Moose restaurant and bar is just down the street, less than a mile away. So a lot of great stuff, really close. And this home, it is right behind me. It's a subject property, the subject property that we're gonna be talking about. It's coming in right at $700,000. So keep in mind, you get all that good stuff that comes along with it with the HOA. With $700,000, it is 4 bedrooms, 5 baths, coming in right at 4,400 square feet. So we're just tacked on another 1,000 square feet from the last house. Price came up a little bit. That puts our price per square foot right at $158. So not much of a bump in price per square foot, and you get all of this and all of that. So beautiful house, finished basement, Lots of elbow room and space in there. They've got granite, they've got nice carpet, they've got hardwoods in the main, the real stuff. So all the great things. One of my favorite things about this one is the back patio, or the back deck, I should say, off the main level. It's got a covered roof. They've got it lined with wood. It looks absolutely beautiful. But when you have a covered top deck and your basement's finished, typically you'll get this walkout patio, which is exactly what they have, which is also dry because the top's covered. So another great space for entertaining down there. There's a wet bar in the basement, entertainment area, all that good stuff. But they've got dry seating under the deck, and then that patio kind of continues off to the exposed area, so you can sit out in the sun too. So you have the best of both worlds down there when you're throwing a big party and trying to entertain. So that is what I have to say about that. As always, I love it when you guys watch these videos and give us comments, give us thumbs up and feedback, but really it's all about you. So we really need to have that conversation with you guys, discover what your goals are so we can help you with that seamless transition. So thanks for watching. Let us know how we can help. Remember, you got a friend in the business. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks.